Here are 5 strategies to try if your older loved one or your aging parent is calling you multiple times a day. 1, understand what's driving this behavior. So take some time to really think about why they might be calling you multiple times a day. Is there a new medical illness that's been diagnosed? Is there a worsening of an already established medical condition? Perhaps they're experiencing a progression of a dementia disorder or fear and anxiety around an existing condition that's not dementia. Are they going through any big changes or anticipating big changes, like the loss of a loved one or of their home? Have they recently moved? Get curious. 2 is to ask them, invite them into the discussion about why they're calling you multiple times a day. Ask what's going on for them. See if they have thoughts about what's happening just before they call you. Are they lonely? Are they bored? Are they anxious? Do they look to you for support and soothing? Perhaps they can articulate some of those things, and together the two of you can brainstorm. This is a really important point. They're calling you because they rely on you, they trust you. And as you're solving this problem, you can share that hopefully with them by asking them the same questions you're asking yourself. It gets harder to do this with a dementia disorder, but give it a try. Even in the earlier stages of dementia, people can help. People living with dementia can help. All right, 3 is to think of other people who, in addition to you, might be able to reach out to your aging parent or your loved one for a chat or for some company. This can help with distraction if they are anxious, and it can help with alleviating boredom if they're bored or lonely. So brainstorm who else in your loved one's life would be open for a phone call and checking in with your aging parent. Number 4 is to think of activities that they might be able to do. Similar to the friends and family who might be willing to call, coming up with activities can be really helpful with helping with boredom, giving a sense of accomplishment. If they're helping, a neighbor of mine was making masks at the beginning of the pandemic, having a sense of purpose. Are there activities your loved one can engage in that would help them feel a part of something, help them feel accomplished? And then 5 is to manage expectations. This is an important one. So if your loved one is calling you multiple times a day, it's interrupting your day, it's interrupting your work, it's interrupting the tasks that you have to complete, and it can really throw you off course and make you frustrated. I get that. So instead of multiple times a day your loved one calling, perhaps you share with your loved one 3 times during the day that you'd be able to call and check in and have a chat with them. You could say, hey, Mom, I'll call you at 8, noon, and 5. I'll call you in the morning and see how you slept. I'll call you around noon and check in, hear what you're having for lunch, and I'll talk with you in the evening when I'm making dinner. That way, if you manage the expectation up front, it will help your loved one know that they can have something to look forward to and perhaps have a greater sense of security and knowing and certainty and knowing that you will call. If there are some medical emergencies or mental health emergencies that are brimming, you can also create an emergency plan with them. Perhaps you have a life alert button, perhaps you have other friends checking in at other times, so everything is not weighing on you. Above all, whatever you do, do it with love. And the reason to do this ahead of time or as this behavior gets started sooner rather than later, sometimes it's hard to know how long the behavior will go on for. But the more that you can think about how you'll handle these situations, the easier it will be to communicate with compassion and with love. So you don't want your older loved one to feel like a burden. There's already the fear there for them. That's a very common fear for older adults who are relying more and more on their family, that they're going to be a burden. And if they sense frustration, that's going to confirm this idea that they are a burden. So the more you can plan for these things and figure out how to communicate with love and compassion, but also honoring your own needs and boundaries, the better. All right, so there you have it, 5 strategies for how to help your older loved one who is calling you multiple times a day.